Hi, I'm Darren. I want to speak to you today about walkers and walking frames, and actually a story about my mum and the benefits that she found with walkers and walking frame, even though she was resistant to getting on them initially. So my mum, her name's Tony, and she has dementia. And as her dementia got worse and she moved out of her house for over 40 years into a retirement village, so did the increase in anxiety. And part of that was her confidence and lack of confidence in her mobility, in her walking. So with the increase in anxiety, she started to shuffle more and more. So instead of taking normal strides, she would shuffle, barely lifting her feet off the ground, taking really minute steps. And part of that was the anxiety was so high, she believed that every little pebble that you might see in a path behind me or a crack in the ground was a significant risk of falling. So therefore, she would look at the ground the entire time. Whether that was walking in her unit or walking to the letterbox, her head would be down the entire time. Now over time, that also meant that changed her posture, and her shoulders and her neck rounded out, which meant even more so, her head was facing the ground, her face was facing the ground the entire time. Now the side effects of that is because her posture changed without a walker and a walking frame, that she wasn't able to look people in the eye anymore. She wasn't able to communicate with her grandkids or other family members and look them in the eye because her posture had changed from looking at the ground the entire time. Even when she walked to the letterbox, which she didn't do very often in the end, she wouldn't notice when other residents were walking past or walking towards her because her head was down all the time. So therefore she wasn't having conversations. She wasn't saying hello to people. Her social interaction was really low. And then David introduced Mum to the walkers and walking frames. And what that did almost instantly is gave Mum the confidence to stand up straight with her hands on the walker and the walking frame, and the sturdiness that came with and the confidence that it gave Mum. She was able to be straighter, straighten up, have her eyes forward, and therefore lots of benefits. One, she was able to notice things like this where she wasn't before, about a sunset or about the birds in the trees or the beautiful things around her. She wasn't able to notice those before because her head was down. Now she could. She was also able to interact better with the people around her because she'd notice the residents that were walking towards her. She'd be able to stop and say hello and have a bit of a chat. She's a dog lover, and for those that had the dogs that were walking past, she'd be able to stop and have a chat and have a pat of the dogs as well. So it actually not only increased her posture, it increased her confidence with her mobility, and it also increased her quality of life and her happiness because she had all these other experiences that with her head down, she was missing out on. So maybe that's you or one of your loved ones that maybe their mobility is a little bit restricted and you're thinking of whether you should or they should be fitted out for a walker or walking frame. And my suggestion is don't leave it too long, because we sometimes think it's purely about their mobility and purely about their confidence, whereas I've seen with my mum and other family members as well, that it's much more than that. It's about their quality of life, their lifestyle, their interaction, and very much about, of course, their safety and mobility as well. So if you're in that position where you're wanting to have a chat with someone about it, go and see David, Alan and Andy at Thrive Mobility. The shop's been there for over 26 years at 190 McGill Road, Norwood. I'd be really happy to have a chat to you and your loved ones, fit you out for the right walker or walking frame. And to this day, Mum's in a nursing home now, but she still has a lightweight walking frame for inside and then a more sturdy walker with the seat on there for outside, easy to put in the car, those sorts of things. So have a chat to the guys at Thrive Mobility. They'll certainly be able to help you out, and hopefully you can and your loved ones can have the positive experiences like my mum had as well.